Every flight carries more than just passengers. It carries secrets. From the moment you board, you're stepping into a system designed with hidden rules, safety codes, and silent decisions. In this video, we'll talk about 15 flight secrets that you didn't know about. Not all seats are equal. Not all rules are about safety. And not every flight goes exactly as planned. From water you shouldn't drink to hidden crew protocols, the sky holds more secrets than you think. These are the facts airlines don't highlight, but that seasoned travelers always pay attention to. Number 1. Secret crew sleeping compartments. On long international flights, passengers aren't the only ones who get tired. Flight attendants and pilots often work shifts that last over 10 hours, sometimes even longer. So how do they stay alert and rested? The answer lies in one of the best-kept secrets of modern aviation: hidden crew rest compartments built right into the aircraft. In wide-body planes, like the Boeing 777 or 787 Dreamliner, there are special sleeping quarters designed exclusively for the crew. These are not visible from the cabin and are typically accessed via discreet doors or even narrow staircases hidden near the galley or cockpit. Some are located above the passenger ceiling, while others are tucked below the main deck. Inside, these compartments resemble compact sleeping pods or bunk beds, complete with pillows, blankets, and often some soundproofing. They allow pilots and flight attendants to take scheduled rest breaks during long-haul flights, especially those that span 10 to 16 hours. Pilots typically have their own separate rest area, while cabin crew may share a bunk-style room. These rest areas are part of international safety regulations, ensuring that crew members stay alert and capable of performing their duties, especially in emergencies. Fatigue can be dangerous in aviation, and rest is critical for maintaining focus. Next time you're flying across the world and wonder where the crew goes when you don't see them for a while, know they're probably catching a few hours of rest in a hidden room just above or below your seat. Out of sight, but always on duty. Number 2. Airplane mode. Is important? You've heard it before. Please switch your devices to airplane mode. But does it really matter? Contrary to popular belief, your smartphone won't interfere with an aircraft's core flight systems or cause a crash. However, the real concern lies in potential interference with communication equipment, especially during takeoff and landing. If dozens or even hundreds of devices are actively seeking cellular signals at 35,000 feet, the result can be a chaotic storm of signals that might create static or signal overlap on the pilot's radio transmissions. It's more of an annoyance than a threat, but it can be distracting during critical communication moments. Modern aircraft are increasingly shielded against electronic interference, and some airlines even offer in-flight Wi-Fi and texting services. Still, airplane mode is enforced globally as a standard precaution, and it's backed by aviation regulatory bodies. The rule also helps avoid unnecessary network congestion and battery drain, as phones desperately try to ping distant cell towers while traveling at high speeds. So no, your phone won't bring down the plane, but choosing to comply is about ensuring clear channels for pilots and minimizing disruptions. It's a small, simple step that contributes to overall flight safety and professionalism, and it helps keep your fellow passengers' experience as smooth as yours. Number 3. Airplane bathrooms can be opened from the outside. That cramped little airplane bathroom may seem like the one place on a flight where you have complete privacy. But think again. Every lavatory door on a commercial aircraft is equipped with an external override mechanism, usually located behind the lavatory sign or near the occupied indicator. There's a small latch that flight attendants can use to unlock the door from the outside in case of emergencies. This feature exists for safety reasons. If a passenger becomes unresponsive due to a medical issue, is engaging in suspicious behavior, or simply spends too long in the bathroom, crew members need a way to intervene quickly. The design ensures that no one is truly locked in, which is important for maintaining access and addressing potential health or security issues mid-flight. It's also why airlines ask passengers to avoid congregating around lavatories, and why you might notice flight attendants watching closely when someone disappears inside. While the odds of your door being unlocked are low, it's good to remember that lavatory privacy is conditional, especially if you're planning to stretch out, change clothes, or disappear for a while. Number 4. Crew members are watching you closely. That warm hello from the flight attendant when you board isn't just about hospitality. It's a trained response with a deeper purpose. Flight attendants are constantly scanning passengers as they board, mentally noting who may pose a risk and who could be helpful in an emergency. In the span of a smile and a nod, they're assessing a range of factors: signs of intoxication, erratic behavior, potential illness, or anything that suggests a security concern. They're also trained to spot passengers who appear physically fit, alert, and capable. These individuals may be relied upon in an emergency, especially if they're seated near exit rows. If a situation like an evacuation arises, attendants need to know who can assist quickly, move others, or remain calm under pressure. In some cases, flight attendants also look out for signs of human trafficking or passengers who appear to be in distress or traveling under coercion. Their training equips them to flag subtle cues, from body language to passenger interactions. Number 5. Oxygen masks only last 15 minutes. It's one of the most memorable parts of the pre-flight safety demonstration. If the cabin loses pressure, oxygen masks will drop from the overhead panel. But here's a detail they usually skip. Those masks only supply oxygen for about 12 to 15 minutes. That sounds scary, but it's all part of a well-designed emergency protocol. Why so short? Because in the event of rapid cabin depressurization, the plane's immediate priority is to descend to a safe, breathable altitude, typically below 10,000 feet, as fast as possible. This emergency descent often takes only a few minutes. The oxygen mask's job is to keep you conscious during this critical window. When cabin pressure drops at high altitudes, there's only a brief period, sometimes just 15 to 30 seconds, before hypoxia sets in. Hypoxia is a condition where your brain doesn't get enough oxygen, causing confusion, unconsciousness, or worse. That's why it's vital to put your mask on immediately, even before helping others. The oxygen in those masks doesn't come from tanks, but from chemical generators. Once activated, they start a one-time chemical reaction that releases breathable oxygen. That's also why you might notice a burning smell when the masks deploy. It's the chemical system working. So yes, the masks don't last long, but they don't need to. They're designed for one very specific purpose: to buy you just enough time until the plane reaches a lower altitude. In those critical moments, speed matters more than duration. So if masks ever drop, act fast and breathe steady. Number 6. The water on planes might be contaminated. The tap water on airplanes is not something you want to drink. That includes the water used for tea, coffee, and brushing your teeth in the lavatory. It comes from onboard water tanks that are rarely cleaned as thoroughly or as often as they should be. Multiple studies, including those by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the Airline Water Study, have found the presence of bacteria such as E. coli and coliform in water samples from various commercial airlines. The tanks are difficult to access and expensive to clean, which leads to inconsistent sanitation across airlines and aircraft. Although the water is technically deemed potable by aviation standards, the safety threshold is based on outdated regulations and lenient testing schedules. Many flight attendants, who know the inner workings of these systems, avoid drinking the plane's tap water entirely. They use bottled water for drinking and advise passengers to do the same. Coffee and tea might seem like safer options because they involve boiling water, but the water on some flights may not reach the temperatures needed to kill all harmful bacteria, especially when prepared under time pressure at altitude. If the idea of drinking from a tank that hasn't been properly sanitized in weeks or months concerns you, trust your instincts and opt for sealed bottled beverages only. If it doesn't come from a sealed bottle or can, skip it. Avoid drinking anything that uses the aircraft's water supply. It's a small decision that can save you from a much bigger problem mid-flight or after you land. Your safest option is to bring your own bottled water or ask for one from the drink cart. Number 7. Why the cabin lights really dim. During takeoff. Why do the cabin lights dim every time you take off or land, especially at night? It's not about mood lighting or saving energy, it's actually a critical safety precaution. In the rare event of an emergency evacuation, the cabin lights are dimmed to help your eyes adjust to the outside environment, which may be dark or smoky. This improves your chances of navigating quickly and safely to the nearest exit. Think of it this way. If you were in a brightly lit room and suddenly had to step outside into pitch-black darkness, your eyes would need time to adjust. That time, in an emergency, could mean the difference between getting out safely or not. By dimming the lights, the crew is essentially preparing your vision in advance, allowing for a faster response if an evacuation becomes necessary. Airlines also ask passengers to raise their window shades during these moments for the same reason. It allows natural light in, helping both your eyes and the flight crew assess outside conditions like fire, debris, or water before opening the emergency exits. It may seem like a small or even annoying part of the flying experience. Dimming the lights is a calculated safety feature. It's one of those invisible procedures that often goes unnoticed but could one day play a crucial role in protecting you. Next time the cabin dims, you'll know it's not just about atmosphere. It's about giving your senses the edge when it matters most. Number 8. Yes, planes often fly with broken parts. It might sound shocking, but yes, planes regularly fly with certain broken components, and it's perfectly legal. But before you panic, here's the key. Not all parts are essential to flight safety. Every commercial aircraft operates under a strict set of guidelines called the Minimum Equipment List, or MEL. This list outlines exactly which systems must be functioning for the plane to be considered safe and airworthy. So, what kind of things can be broken and still allow a flight to take off? Think non-critical items like reading lights, coffee machines, seat recliners, or entertainment systems. If one of those is out of order, it won't affect the plane's ability to fly safely. Even some more technical systems can be inoperative as long as there's a backup or the MEL allows for deferred maintenance with specific operational procedures in place. The MEL isn't decided on a whim. It's a product of engineering analysis, aviation safety studies, and years of flight experience. Pilots and maintenance crews check everything before departure, and if something critical is broken, the flight doesn't leave the ground. Still, to the average traveler, hearing that something isn't working can be unsettling. But rest assured, airlines wouldn't risk taking off unless the aircraft meets all legal and safety standards. The truth is, airplanes are designed with layers of redundancy. Flying with minor defects isn't a sign of negligence. It's a carefully managed aspect of modern aviation. Number 9. Pilots are allowed to nap while flying. Yes, pilots are allowed to sleep mid-flight, and it's actually a standard safety practice. It's called controlled rest, and it's permitted under aviation regulations in many countries, including the US, Europe, and Australia. During long-haul or overnight flights, pilots take turns resting while the aircraft operates under autopilot. One pilot stays awake to monitor systems and communicate with air traffic control, while the other rests in the cockpit or in a designated crew rest area. This system is carefully managed and approved by aviation authorities. In some cases, especially on ultra-long-haul routes, airlines schedule 3 or 4 pilots per flight so they can rotate duties and ensure no one is flying while dangerously fatigued. Rest breaks are calculated based on flight duration, time zones, and expected workload. Fatigue is a serious risk in aviation. A tired pilot is slower to react, more prone to errors, and less capable of making split-second decisions. Allowing in-flight rest helps ensure pilots are alert and sharp during critical phases of the flight, especially takeoff, approach, and landing. Studies by NASA and international aviation safety agencies support controlled rest as an effective fatigue mitigation strategy. Passengers are often surprised to learn their captain may be sleeping at 35,000 feet, but there's no need for concern. Pilots don't nap simultaneously, and autopilot doesn't mean the aircraft is flying itself. Pilots still monitor instruments, update flight plans, and handle any unexpected situations. In fact, a well-rested pilot is far safer than one who's pushing through fatigue. Controlled rest isn't cutting corners. It's smart risk management. So if your pilot is taking a nap mid-flight, it's not a red flag. It's part of what makes modern air travel remarkably safe. Number 10. You're breathing recycled air. Cabin air is a mix of fresh, compressed air from outside and recirculated air from inside the aircraft. The recirculated portion passes through HEPA, high-efficiency particulate air, filters, which remove over 99.97% of airborne particles, including viruses and bacteria. This makes airplane air cleaner than many office buildings or public spaces. Air in the cabin is refreshed every 2 to 3 minutes, reducing the risk of airborne transmission. However, surfaces remain potential sources of germs. Since air flows from ceiling to floor, not front to back, those seated next to you pose the biggest risk during illness outbreaks. Using hand sanitizer, avoiding touching your face, and wearing a mask on crowded or flu season flights can reduce your chances of getting sick. Number 11. Tray tables are dirtier than the toilets. Multiple studies have found that airplane tray tables often harbor more bacteria than toilet flush buttons or seatbelt buckles. One test revealed over 2,100 colony-forming units per square inch on tray tables, far more than bathroom surfaces. Why? Tray tables aren't cleaned after every flight, especially during quick turnarounds. Passengers use them for everything from meals to changing diapers, resting heads, or placing dirty items. Airlines deep clean planes only periodically, so unless you're flying on the first leg of the day, that tray could be a microbial hotspot. If you plan to eat or rest your belongings on it, use sanitizing wipes before use. It's a simple way to avoid picking up germs mid-flight. Number 12. Some seats are actually safer than others. Data from aviation crash investigations suggests that passengers seated near the rear of the aircraft have slightly higher survival rates compared to those at the front. In several past crashes, the tail section of the plane remained more structurally intact than the nose or midsection. While no seat is completely safe in a crash, every scenario is unique, the back of the plane statistically gives passengers a small survival edge. That said, rear seats typically board and deplane last, and can be noisier due to proximity to the engines. Aisle seats, while convenient for movement, are more vulnerable to injury from items in the aisle, turbulence, or even falling luggage. For those prioritizing safety over comfort or convenience, choosing a rear window seat near an exit row may offer the best balance. Number 13. Planes get hit by lightning. All the time, lightning strikes are routine in aviation. Each commercial aircraft is struck about once a year on average. Fortunately, modern planes are engineered to safely withstand these strikes. When lightning hits, it typically enters through one area, like a wingtip or nose, and exits through another, with the plane's metal fuselage conducting the electricity around the cabin and systems. Airplanes are thoroughly tested for lightning resilience during certification. Sensitive electronics are shielded, and fuel systems are designed to prevent ignition. The crew monitors the situation, but most of the time, passengers are unaware anything happened. The last known fatal lightning-related crash occurred in the 1960s, highlighting how far aviation safety has come. Number 14. Overbooked flights are no accident. Airlines intentionally overbook flights to maximize profits, anticipating that some passengers won't show. This practice, known as yield management, is based on historical no-show data. If more people show up than expected, the airline begins offering vouchers, rebookings, or even denies boarding. In the US, the Department of Transportation allows this, but requires compensation for involuntary bumps. Airlines weigh the cost of compensation against potential lost revenue from flying with empty seats. While it benefits the bottom line, it can leave travelers stranded, especially on full routes or during holidays. Booking early, checking in promptly, and joining frequent flyer programs can reduce your bump risk. Number 15. There are protocols for deaths. Mid-flight, though rare, passenger deaths do occur during flights, especially on long-haul journeys. When it happens, the crew discreetly handles the situation. If the plane isn't full, the deceased may be moved to an empty row and covered. Otherwise, they may remain in their seat, belted in and covered respectfully with a blanket until landing. Some aircraft are stocked with corpse kits, including body bags or gloves, but there are no designated storage areas for bodies. Pilots notify air traffic control and prioritize landing at the nearest suitable airport, depending on the situation. Cabin crew are trained to manage such scenarios with discretion and compassion, minimizing alarm to other passengers. There's a lot more to flying than meets the eye. Beneath the calm, smooth surface of commercial aviation is a world of hidden rules, unspoken truths, and secrets that passengers are never told. From hidden compartments and oxygen time limits to overbooked flights and recycled air, air travel is a carefully orchestrated system designed to keep people moving and unaware of what's really going on. Now that you know these secrets, you'll never look at flying the same way again. Safe travels, and maybe wipe down that tray table.